In 2013, an international team of biologists led by Freek J. Vonk of the University of Leiden, Netherlands, compared the genomes of the king cobra, the Burmese python, and the Anole lizard. What they found was that the king cobra actually had a large array of venoms, most of which were modified versions of proteins which are found in most cells, which perform basic metabolic processes. So the genes responsible for these fundamental metabolic processes were actually common to all three reptiles. But in the cobra, repeated gene duplication made them available for mutation and natural selection to overcome any resistance that had evolved in its prey species, while still being able to kill other prey species that had not evolved to have any resistance to its original venom. The king cobra, the predator, has a venom that kills its prey. The prey evolves to overcome being killed by the venom. Then the genes that produce the venom are duplicated and then mutated, and then because it's passing off the duplication of the original and the mutated gene, the cobra remains able to kill the original prey and new prey. As a result, you essentially have a cocktail of venoms in the king cobra. Now, in this study, as an incidental aside, not even what they were looking to find out, it was discovered that the king cobra has all of the Hox genes needed for building limbs, except for one called the Hox D12. So it seems like the ancestor of the cobra lost the ability to grow legs by breaking or losing just one of these Hox genes. Now here's the interesting part. The grow a leg genes are still active in snake embryos. They're just ignored by the cells. So for people who believe in a god, a designer of living organisms, right, they would have to maintain that for some reason, God is putting all of the genes necessary to grow legs in snakes and then just having their cells ignore those genes. Why would God do that? What would be the point in giving snakes those genes? And a similar point, a lot of animals are capable of producing their own vitamin C because they have the gene necessary to do so. Well, it just so happens humans also have the gene necessary to do so, but at some point that gene mutated to become inactive, and then we just kept duplicating the inactive mutation of that gene, so we're now unable to produce our own vitamin C. Regardless of your conclusion, the information you just discovered should lead you to question the idea that living organisms were designed by an intelligent designer who has a purpose for everything that he does. What could be the purpose for the gene that would produce vitamin C if it was active, but doesn't because it's inactive? What could be the purpose for the Hox genes, which would produce limbs in snakes, but don't because they're missing one of the genes, and so the cells in the embryo just ignore those genes? There are countless examples in biology where you have 27 of 29 genes needed to do something, but given the lack of the last two, that renders the first 27 inactive. There are a lot of examples of that sort of thing happening in living organisms. Does that really seem indicative of a design from an intelligent designer who has a purpose for everything that he designed? I'm Shane the Skeptic, and whether you're theist, atheist, religious, or secular, I thank you for taking the time to watch my video, and I wish nothing but health and happiness for you and everyone that you love. Have a good day. I'm Shane the Skeptic, and whether you're theist, atheist, religious, or secular, I thank you for taking the time to watch my video, and I wish nothing but health and happiness for you and everyone you love. Have a good day, everybody.